extend a warm welcome to all present here for the faculty development program titled Advanced Research Methodology and Data Analysis. I myself, Dr. Razina from School of Economics and Commerce, CMR University, Bengaluru. I welcome all the participants to the FDP that's happening from 9th to 14th September 2024. Good evening to everyone present here on the fifth day of faculty development program. We are going to learn about quantitative research in industry and academia. I hereby extend a warm welcome to our speaker, Mukul Tiwari sir, Research Manager, REC United Kingdom, who was very kind enough to accept our invitation. And I'll just run through the profile of this sir so that you'll get a glimpse of the speaker. Mukul Tiwari sir is a research and management professional with more than 9 years of experience, with a particular focus on both quantitative and qualitative research and research management, business research management, business research, general and strategic management, and training and mentoring in organization behavior. And during Sir's master degree in science in general management from Trinity Business School, Dublin, Ireland, he undertook a dissertation project on the effect of work-life balance on employees' organization commitment with job satisfaction as a mediation factor, which presented the opportunity to utilize the research skills gained during the study and presented the same thing in a coherent manner. While working as a researcher at the University of Birmingham, UK, his research skills improved invaluably during a project at the work, inclusive of research center. And Sir is equally passionate technology, about technology, and his master's from ABV IIT M Gwalior and a bachelor from Uttar Pradesh Technical University, Lucknow, India, in computer science. And it is also his others assets and training skill development. He has leveraged his importance in building an efficient workforce and improving an organization, business performance and revenues. And more about Sir, if we go, Sir possesses multi-dimensional skills and specialist in the areas of business and market research and development. And Sir assures and management data visualization and storytelling as the major pedagogy in the process. Sir, on behalf of SOEC, I would like to welcome you and thank you for accepting our invitation and being here today. With this, I'll hand over the session to Sir. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this warm welcome. And uh, as you mentioned, currently I work
Tiwari sir,
with
I will intervene 1 minute.
sure.
Participants, since you are not muting yourself, whatever is happening in your home, it is going on YouTube. Do you know? It is on the recording mode. So it is going on the YouTube. Tiwari sir, I will mute everyone after you will start. Then what if you want any response from participants, they will be responding through the chat.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Yes, sir. Please.
So thank you so much for this warm welcome. And yes, currently I work with REC, that is Recruitment and Employment Confederation UK, and this is a trade body which deals in recruitment industry. And as a research manager, I overtook the research report development, data collection, and the recruitment sector in the UK. And my major research area is follows quantitative research methods. And in this lecture, I would like to um, light some focus on difference between how academia research work and how industry research works. So uh, I guess should I start with the VPT if everybody's okay? Let me share the presentation with you all. Is the presentation visible to everybody? If you do have any questions, please let me know in chat. So first, we will go through the slides and then I'll take any questions you have regarding this topic. And also, if you have any questions on job opportunities in research and industry in abroad or in India, I can take questions on that too. And also, I want to make the session more interactive. So if you have any questions at any point, just write in chat and I can take that from there. So um, theoretically, the objective of this session is to compare and contrast the characteristics of methodologies, goals, and outcomes of academic and industry research in the field of business and management. But my main aim is to make you understand the key differences in academic and industry research and help you to choose your future goal according to your interest. So the scope is around the focus on research and business management within social science. So let's start with the basics. What is let's start with basic, like what's your understanding of academic research and what is industry research? So basically, in in industry research, we focus on real life problems and practical issues, and obviously it is conducted within or for business aims to solve specific problems. So, for example, if we talk about industry research, let's say there is an ABC company which wants to know about customers' feedback on their newly launched product. So they will conduct a survey, or they will ask customers in focus group, and they will collect data on the on new product, and they will find out that is their product is working or not, or what they should change in that product, or if there is any scope of improvement, and what features customer liking. And for example, if there is no sale in any product, then a company would want to know that why this is happening, why our product is not selling, how we can improve the sales. So in a sense, if we say industry research, that is quite practical focused, and it's really short term. For example, because they need to work so fast in industry is fast paced environment, so they need to take quick decisions. So these research industry, very these have very quick turnaround time. So it's time is quite essential in an industry research. But if we talk about academics, so they are theoretical focus, and often they are a very long term projects. So um, the main aim of academic projects are they are basically focused towards contributing to knowledge and theory. So for example, if I choose a project in, you can say, employment studies, or in the area of work inclusivity. So for example, I want to investigate what is the effect of leadership on employee engagement, for example, and what are the mediating and moderating factor which could affect this relationship. So this could be one of the titles of academic research, and this project could run from, I guess, 1 year to 3 year, 4 year. In PhD, it probably could go till 7 years in India, I guess. So, and if we talk about publications, then also if we talk about ABS ranking publications. So in ABS ranking, if we talk about 4 star or 3 star or higher, then it might take a couple of years since your since you submit the document and the publication date. So it's a very long-term project. And in industry, contradictory, um, your turnaround time could be 3 months, 6 months at max, but not beyond that. For example, recently I was working on a project which was focused towards uh, temporary working, and we started that project 3 months back, and we launched the campaign, I guess 2 weeks back. So it's quite a short duration. And but after launching the project, it doesn't end. After launching the project, in general, we need to constantly check the feedback, the outcome. Is our campaign working? What is going on in the industry after launching the campaign? As for example, we launched a campaign um, for checking whether EV vehicles, electric vehicles, what is customer response to that? And if we launch any campaign like some promotion, how EV electric vehicles are so environment friendly and cost saving. And after launching this campaign, we also need to check that what's going on. And after this campaign, does this affect customers' buying behavior or not? And if not, then again it feeds back to the project. So initially it's a very small project, but it constantly feedbacks. But in academia, we start a project, we collect the data, we submit the project, and then if we want to start, we start another project, but not the same. It should be some changes in that. So it's a long-term project, but it ends then and there. In industry, the short-term project, but multiple, it runs consistently, but it's a short term. There could be a chain of multiple projects, you can say. And if we talk about goals and objectives, so in industry, you're not studying the abstract concepts that you might be using in academia, and such as motivation, attention, and data conformity. And these things widely studied topic in social psychology, business, and management. And but instead of those in industry, you are researching real world phenomena to solve an actual problem. And the focus of your research in industry is primarily to identify what problem needs to be solved, or provide information to solve problems related to a product or organizational functioning. So, as I said, organizational functioning. So, for example, in organizational behavior research field, um, we see some examples like as I mentioned, example of leadership. So these abstract things we study in academia, but if we talk about how these things work in the industry, these things are related to um, what is the dynamics of employee relationship in the organizations, and how those things are affecting on employees performance. So we use sometimes these abstract concepts. We use those predefined scales, but we do not follow the actual methodologies or the long-term process which we follow in academia. So academia is highly discovery focused, and much of the research is motivated by satisfying an intellectual curiosity, um, which is quite different than the real world application in some ways. And in contrast, industry is basically mostly focused on understanding and solving problem that has immediate effect on everyday's life. As I mentioned about the campaigns, for example, um, let's talk about Parle G. We all know about this biscuit. So if we say we want to understand what is the market share of that particular brand, so immediately we will run a survey on target population. For we could take a small sample or large sample depending upon the study, depending upon the funding, and based on the results, we could provide options for few other brands, and we could check how many people are buying those those biscuits. So it means it's and immediately after we get the results, we will analyze. We don't use any statistical methods as per se, but we do a quick um, run through the data, and we can check that what is the market share of the biscuits. And if market share is less, then we could implement some methods, some campaigns, some advertisement, and then after those implementation, we could again check that does our market share improve or not. So we can check immediate effect of the campaign, and based on that, we could change our strategies. But in academia, if we talk about the expanding theoretical understanding, so the main aim is expanding theoretical understanding, publishing articles, and contributing to the knowledge. So that's how these two, academic and industry, these two things are different. And methodologies are also significantly different in academia as well as in industry. So in academia, if we talk about research methodologies, so first of all, we need to see what research philosophies we follow. I guess this should be, in my opinion, this should be the starting point of any academic research, especially in PhD. So that what is the research philosophy, and then if we talk about research philosophy, we could start from ontological beliefs, so that which is core nature of the research. So it could be more realism, relativism, and then this informs us about the epistemology of research, which could be positivism, interpretivism. And these beliefs enable us about the understanding of research methodologies. So which could be quantitative and qualitative research methods, and then we could think about in which context we should run our research, how we can operationalize our research, and we can also check that are we focused on developing any scales or checking any scale. So many things comes into the picture, and it is a very rigorous procedure. And in terms of industry, if we talk about, so this is a quite simplistic research form, which I'll repeat myself. In that case, it's very fast paced, and it is very much market oriented and profitability oriented. So every research in industry, whatever happens, it has some direct or indirect relationship with monetary rewards. So basically, industry research, it is highly case basis. So a research could be different if we want to promote something. A research could be different if we want to understand the customer feedback. A research could be different if we want to understand what is the employee resignation rate. A research could be different if we want to understand the comparison between two products. But the basic research methods which we use, those are either focus group or surveys. And as I mentioned, that sometimes we use A and B testing. So it is quite similar to the control group experiment which we do in academia, but um, again, it's not that much rigorous that academia is. So I really very much value academic research in that term, that this is quite authentic piece of research. In industry, research is not that much authentic, that much mm, you can say um, valid, that much valid as compared to academia. And if we talk about data source, then again, um, industry very much focused towards companies' internal data or the data they collect through primary research, through customers' feedback, or through any other analytics, or they also depends upon secondary data sometimes from any other market reports, and also there is some scope for interviews and as I mentioned focus groups. So that kind of data inform industry research. And academic research, again, it is very much informed from existing literature which is already published in various journals, and from there, apart from that, primary data which we collect through experiments and surveys, and also in academia we use publicly available data sets. And so if we see in those two groups, academia and industry, um, we use same thing, almost same thing, but the rigorousness and the level of effort is quite different in both research. So, for example, if we talk about academics, so let's say we could use a publicly available data set like those from World Bank or European market data to study global economic trends and their impact on business practices. And if we talk about industry research, so we can analyze the sales data from a company's customer relationship module, which could help us in forecasting future sales trend. And based on that, we could we could understand what kind of inventory we should have, and we could decide the quantity and quality of the inventory based on the sales. So this is how different data source inform different research. And if we talk about outcome, so because of the short timeline, the deliverables in industry are different than those in academia. And in academia, the most important deliverables is final manuscript of research paper, which ideally gets published as an article in top tier journals. And but in industry, the most important final deliverable is your communication of insights to stakeholders. You do not have time to write a 30-page manuscript, nor would anybody read it if you do. And you might produce a report, but it's generally only for a few pages containing an overview of research methods and main actionable insight. For example, if you produce any report in academia, it's majorly focused towards the charts and data and what we could directly infer from the data. We do not focus on creating models or frameworks in general in industry research, but in academia, as I said in the beginning, we are very much focused towards developing um, developing knowledge, contributing towards knowledge. So we could develop frameworks, we could develop different skills, we could develop different models, different to enhance the understanding of a concept. So that's how the outcome and impact both in industry and academia both are different. And again, as I'm stressing, constantly stressing on the time. So um, timelines are the major difference between academia and industry research. In academia, projects can range in duration, but they generally span a couple of years, as I said in the beginning, from conceptions and then ethics approval, again data collection, data analysis, and report writing, and then several revisions on the manuscripts, and then acceptance. So this is due to a rigorous expectation of the scientific methods and peer review process, in addition to time requirement to apply for grants and secure funding. So the grants and fundings are also very important in academia. And in industry, if we talk about projects, that generally range from a few weeks to months. And in my experience, most of my projects, those are um, 2 to 4 weeks, 2 to 4 months, and so on. And I usually work on 2 to 3 projects at the same time. And if we talk about 2 to 3 projects in academia at the same time, it is quite difficult to manage because of the complexity and of the rigorousness of the demand that research project does. So I guess in that term, academia a long-term project and industry it's a short-term project. And next is ethical consideration. So again, because industry is a short-term project and in a fast-paced, changing environment, and in academia, it's a long-term project and comparatively less frequent changes in academia. And this also derives ethical considerations in both of the research. So in academia, we focus towards transparency and peer reviewing, and if we investigate human subjects, then there are strict ethical guidelines which we need to adhere, and um, we also need to follow the risk and consequences related to that. And because from my experience in Trinity Business School, Dublin, and University of Birmingham, UK, I would say securing ethical approval for any research projects where humans are involved is really difficult, and you need to make sure that there is no way you could harm um, mentally or physically any of the participants, and there should not be any consequences of your research. And also they focus on your own safety as well. For example, if you want to investigate crime in any neighborhood, so it's sometimes it could not be safe for the researcher as well. So in ethical considerations, we need to also focus on this kind of risk as well. But in industry, the major focus is on data users and data privacy. And also because there are multiple stakeholders involved in most of the industry research, so we also we are focused towards how data exchange or data sharing could take place, and the we also need to be careful about the legalities behind that. So In industry, the main focus is confidentiality, and in academia, the main focus is transparency and the safety of a researcher and the respondents. So, if we talk about examples, so in academic research, a study on employee burnout, which adheres strict ethical guidelines, ensuring confidentiality and voluntary participation of the subject. But if you talk about industry research, the basic example is, for example, a tech company that's internal research on user behavior that raises ethical concerns about the data privacy, leading to a debate on how to balance business goals and customer insights. So, if you see in those two examples, in academic research, main focus is respondent and researcher, but in industry research, main focus is um, the legal issue or data sharing confidentiality. So let's move on to the collaboration and funding. So most of the academic projects, those are funded through government or universities' own fund, and in some cases, not for profit organization. They also collaborate with academics for research projects, and collaboration between academic professionals that are also quite usual in academic research. For example, one professor from one university collaborate with other in several occasions, for example, in FTP as well. And industry, it is majorly funded by the own company which is conducting the research. And also, and sometimes we collaborate with other companies based on what kind of deliverables they could put on the table. For example, currently we publish a research report which is named Report on Jobs. And that report tracks data on number of permanent placement in the UK, number of temporary placement in the UK, what are the salary expectations um, in both settings, permanent and temporary, and what are the demand of employees and what is the supply rate. And we publish this report every month, but this is not our own report. We collaborate with two different companies, KPMG and S&P Global. So S&P Global does the survey. KPMG and REC, we we give insights on that particular report, and collectively we publish that report every month. So as I said about the turnaround, so this is one piece of research, and the turnaround time for this research is 1 month, ideally 4 weeks. So in 4 weeks we collect data, we analyze data, we generate report, we we and we publish it in the market. So this is how we do, and I don't think in 1 month we can do any research in academic sector, not even master's dissertation. So that's how. And as I said, in this collaboration, multiple stakeholders, multiple organizations involved. So that's why the expenditure will also be contributed from all three organizations in different ways. So and all the stakeholders would be benefited from that report as well. So let's see the examples. So if we talk about academic example, so as I mentioned earlier, the example of impact of leadership style on employee performance. So if we want to investigate this, then this research might involve surveys, interview with employees across different organizations. And for example, if we provide any context in this, for example, we say impact of leadership style on employee performance in small scale organization, then just adding one small context would entirely change the research. And also, if we say that um, impact of leadership style of female leaders on employee performance. So these small changes could provide a greater impact on change in methodology and change in objective and change in different outcomes. So let's stick to the leadership style on employee performance. So in this, the objective could be to explore different leadership style like transformational, transactional, autocratic, and how it could affect employees' motivation and performance, or because the organizational commitment, or employee engagement, you can say. So if we talk about various industries, then we should collect data from different industries. If we talk about specifically in IT industry, then our target population should be just focused towards IT. And if we talk about small scale IT organization, then again we are further um, refining the context, and that also refines the target population. And based on target population, we target the sample for the research. And um, based on the research methodologies, we could either, as I said, we could either collect data through surveys or interviews, and then after that, we could the outcome of that could contribute towards development of leadership theories, and we could tell that which factors could affect that relationship and how that relationship changes if we include some other factors. So these things could improve the understanding of the knowledge in the area. And if we talk about industry example, so we could check what is the consumer preference for electric vehicles. And the objective of this research could be to understand customers' attitude towards electrical vehicle, and we could identify what are the key factors which could influence their purchase decision. So for investigating this research, we could run a survey, and we could conduct a focus group interview, and also, and if we want to check the um, a market for a new product, then we could, for example, we could ask what are the current existing products in the market, and what are the drawback customer can find. And based on that drawback and based on those gaps, we could develop our own product, and then we could launch that product, and then we could check customer feedback on the newly launched product in comparison with other products. So, and again, but methodologies would involve surveys, focus group, and the data from sales and other departments. And as an outcome, we could get the insights the about customers' preferences, and it could help developing and manufacturing um, our strategies, how we could launch our new electric vehicle, or how we could change the existing model so that the purchase frequency could improve. So after understanding these two areas, let's move on to advantages and disadvantages. So, um, academic research, it's as I said, it's long-term research. So we do a very rigorous piece of research and in-depth analysis, and we contribute to theory development. And these theories, these could sometimes help in industry as well. As I mentioned that in industry, if you want to understand about the organizational dynamics, then sometimes we use those skills which are developed in academic research. But the drawbacks we could identify from academia, that these researches are time consuming and a very limited practical application. Because the thing is, for example, that is my personal opinion, I would say. Um, for example, we started one project in any PhD. So if today is 2024, so if I start a research project in September 2024, it might finish in 2029 or 2030. So in 6 years, the industry could change significantly, and by the time we publish our research, it could be outdated. And just imagine the speed of academic research publication. If in the same way the industry research uh, would have happened during COVID, could we have developed vaccines, and could we have fought against COVID effectively at that time if we go with the pace of original academic pace which we currently face in business and management area, like 2 3 years for a research publication and 2 3 4 years um, for completion of any research project. So it's quite difficult. But if we talk about industry, they have practical relevance. They are short term, but as I mentioned, they are they lack of theoretical depth. And yes, obviously, they are very much biased in some cases. Um, because, for example, if we have a preconceived notion about a campaign, for example, we want customer to buy a certain product, so we have the outcome already in our mind before conceiving the research, and this is a bias. So based on the outcome, we transform our research around it so that we could get the desired outcome which we have already conceived in our mind. So yes, obviously industry research, they have potential bias, but academic research, they are less biased. I'm saying less biased because always there is some kind of researcher's bias exists. So I won't say that's bias free, but very less as compared to industry. So considering all those things about industry and academia, the next point I would like to um, talk about how we could improve both with the collaboration, and how we could complement the loopholes or the shortcomings from those different areas. So the number one thing is collaboration between industry and academia is really important. So as I mentioned in the funding section, that in academia most of the funding comes from government and not-for-profit organizations. So industry should also invest in academic research, and during COVID time that happened, and this enhanced um, the speed in academic research, and which gave us um, significant positive results. So such collaboration are really important, and it should happen often. And um, in academia, we stop our research after theoretical contribution, but from there, industry should take the front seat, and they should apply that research in practice. And in collaboration with the theory and practice, we could generate a better result. And this is how I believe things should work. So now, if you have any question on this topic, so please let me know, and I'll I'll resolve the queries. Thank you.
Any question from participants? Rajina ma'am? एक मिनट Any question from participants?
If you have any questions regarding how whether in job prospect, if you want to join academic research or industry research, and how to pursue that, then also I could take questions on that.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Thank you for that interesting presentation, sir. Just one clarification. I think you really showed the clear distinction between industry and academic research. And you said short term versus long term, and about the number of years, and also about action versus implementation. Sir, I want to just clarify. Most of the corporates or the industry research, do they believe in action-oriented research? Because as per CSR funding, certain amount of funding needs to be invested towards research. So, do you come across several industries like that who come forward to sponsor or to fund action research?
In terms of action research, yes, industry they are focused towards action research, but in terms of funding, that's a major question. And yes, for example, as I mentioned, KPMG and EY, these organizations, if you talk about organization setting research, so they are very much interested. And currently in UK, I can see, especially in the area of green jobs or zero carbon emission, these areas, those areas, industry, they are heavily investing in academic research, and so that the efficient outcomes and efficient solution could be developed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So just one more clarification. We see umpty number of fellowships which come, gets advertised from time to time from many academic institutions, whether it's UK, US, or any other developed countries. But what we don't understand is it doesn't, even the institutions which are leading, so to say, do not come forward with an industry collaborated fellowships. Because most of the academic fellowships, like especially for women, they limit up to 30 or 32. But many of us, you understand how we face problems, by the time we complete everything in terms of a biological requirements and all that, we almost touch 40. So can this proposal be made? I don't know whether you are in the policy making level body. If industries can come forward to fund, research fellowships in collaboration with academic institutions for people like us who can contribute to the requirements which is coming out of requirements from the industry, sir. Thank you.
So in terms of industry funding fellowships, so there are many, and but in if we talk about global QS top 200 ranking, then maximum of those universities, they publicly advertise very few opportunities. But if you go on to check their specific university website and their college specific pages, then you can find more research projects they are working currently.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I guess there is one website, findthephd.com, I guess, if I'm not wrong. So that website that not only tell about
So,
PhD
so
projects,
sorry, can
that
you repeat it again, sir? Sorry.
find the PhD. Yeah. So it not only have the advertisement about PhD position and PhD projects, but it also contains some fellowship projects.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So next, next speaker is Dr. Shrish Singh. He has joined. Rajna ma'am, please proceed.
I would like to thank Mukul Tiwari sir. The blend of bringing industry and academia into one platform and trying to say what distinction it has and speaking from the experience has really made the session wonderful, and hope the knowledge that you have shared will help the participants to understand this conceptually and use it on the real course. Thank you sir for delivering such an wonderful session, and with this we thank you once again from CMR University School of Economics and Commerce.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiwari sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Shrish. Dr. Shrish.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
थोड़ा सा कैमरा सेट कर लीजिए. हाँ,
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. ठीक है, please proceed, ma'am.
Good evening, all. As we all know, we have already had a session with Shrish Singh sir, and we had a wonderful feedback as well about sir's presentation. And as you are already aware, but I'll just run through a
अच्छा,
brief.
Rajna ma'am, sorry, 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
One participant has written that respected sir, please extend the FDP to 15 September. So I have to make one announcement. FDP is already extended to 15 September, and last speaker is from USA, and he's a very renowned speaker. So tomorrow is the from IAM Jammu, and Sunday he is from the USA. Google LLC, he is from the Google. So it is already extended, sir. Please proceed.
Yes. So good evening, all. And on the fifth day again we have with us Shrish Singh sir, and today sir is here to share his knowledge, and we have already had a clarity as such that today sir is going to talk about data analysis using eView software. And coming to sir's profile, as we all are already aware, that sir is a graduate of BSc and completed MBA from Uttar Pradesh, and sir has worked in sir has completed MBA from Institute of Environment and Management, and also sir has joined Bhagat Singh College of Technology and has served good time over there, and has a rich experience of 14 years in teaching and research. And it could and we can clear and we have when we get into the more about sir, it clearly says that sir has proudly stated that he has acted as a reviewer in the international conferences and presented lots of papers in international conferences as well. And sir also has received a merit certificate from IIM Bangalore for the quality work that sir has delivered on quantitative market research. And with the short profile, as all the participants are well aware of this, sir, so have just cut shorted the presentation, but I would like to once again welcome sir to.
Thank you so much, Razina ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Again for the nice introduction. And,
very brief introduction, but still, yeah, participants are well versed with you, sir, by this time.
No, extremely thankful to you
Yes,
for
sir.
introducing me again in such a nice manner. And my heartiest thank to Tiwari sir, who has given me this opportunity once again, because at that time, means on the last session, there was so much technical glitch. So I just want to continue the same session, but here all the participants, just believe me, today we are not going to have any sort of slide session, right? I'll be directly coming on the hands-on, And believe me, after this session, if you want to write a paper, then definitely you can write a paper on DEMATEL plus AHP and you can submit it to any journal. So my ultimate objective is to bring the hands-on to all of you, because I think there are so many research scholars also available. So if you want to get publish your paper, then definitely this session is going to be very important, because the literature review as well as the introduction is concerned, you all can write all those things. Now, how can you analyze the data? I would ask some question from you and you have to just respond to that. And after that, I'll be making one questionnaire and I will solve that questionnaire for you all so that you can understand that how can you proceed along with DEMATEL again, right? And this time I have taken hybrid approach of DEMATEL plus AHP. So I will be introducing AHP also, and I'll be just sharing one link through which you can directly analyze the HP results online freely. So this session is going to be very interesting for you all, especially for those who want to write a paper immediately after this FDP. All right. So first of all, I just want to share the screen because the basics of DEMATEL is clear in the last session. I hope you all are aware about what is DEMATEL and what is all about the process. Now I just want to share this particular screen with you all. I hope the screen is visible to all. I I'm just expecting some answers so that, okay,
There.
Rajina ma'am, yes, thumbs up is there. It means the screen is visible, right? So those who were not there in the last session, especially for them, I just want to recap all the things in a very quicker manner. The first thing is that DEMATEL technique is based on multi-criteria decision making. Now, what are the multi-criteria decision making? Whenever you are having a lot of options with you, and if you want to make the priority list of those options, that which option should be the best one, which option should be the second best, which option should be the third best. So in that particular case, you are using this technique. And if you are knowing that which one is the best one, which one is the second best, which one is the third best, then definitely you can take the decision. So that is why it is called as multi-criteria decision making. Means your decision making is based on various criteria, right? If suppose you are having only one option or only one criteria is there, then there is no need of making any sort of specific decision. Only in that case you have to go along with that particular decision or not. Only two options will be available. But suppose if you are having a lot of options, then definitely sometime it is becoming very difficult to take the right decision, because we are not knowing that which factor or which criteria is most important and which one is less important. So this particular technique will give you this insight. Now, I don't want to go again into the details of all. Here, I just want to make you aware about the process of DEMATEL. So first of all, I'm going to take one specific case, and on the basis of this case, you can understand that how can you solve the DEMATEL analysis, and with the help of this analysis, what can you do? You can write your own paper, right? So suppose what I've taken one criteria, means one basically domain, that is AI adoption, and AI adoption, I'm just trying to check the barriers, right? So barriers in generative AI adoption, suppose this is my topic. So it may be vary from person to person, because you are having some different domain. So you can identify some factors with your domain. But for an example, I have taken barriers in generative AI adoption. Means generative AI, I hope you all are aware about generative AI. Suppose chat GPT is a form of generative AI from where we can generate something, content or image or anything else. So if we are going to use, or if we are going to adopt the AI, then what are the barriers for adopting that, especially in Indian perspective, right? So there might be so many barriers. So from where you can get the barriers? Through the literature review, right? And with the help of experts, so you can identify the barriers. So but I've already taken some barriers here. You can see here in this Excel sheet that the first barrier is social perception. I have written is like SP. Then next one is limited resources. Third one is lack of awareness. Next one is ethical concern, and last one is trust. So I have taken 5 barriers. I just want to showcase you that how these factors, you can call it factors, you can call it drivers, you can call it barriers. Means here these factors are basically barriers, but it is not necessary that always you will be just identifying the barriers. It might happen that in some cases you can identify the drivers also for your particular domain. Suppose if you are trying to know the consumer behavior towards green product. So what are the drivers? What are the factors affecting consumer behaviors towards the green product? So there might be some drivers, some factors, right? So it is up to you that what you want to do. So here I just want to showcase the procedure that how can you do this thing. So the process which I'm going to apply for these 5 factors or 5 barriers, the same can be applicable on 10, 12, 15, 20, whatsoever the number of barriers you are taking, you have to apply the same thing. The objective of this particular session is to make you aware about the analysis part of the DEMATEL technique, right? So I have taken 5 barriers. All the barriers are written here. The first thing is that suppose if you are identifying the barrier, then the next step is to get the feedback. Now, from where you can get the feedback, in the last session, I've already told you that you can get the feedback from the experts. So for this particular purpose, for DEMATEL technique or for any technique of decision making or multi-criteria decision making, you have to involve the experts or the specialist into your studies. And who will be the experts? You can say that academician may be the experts, industrialist may be the experts, or any person who is having the quite enriched, intense experience with that domain in which you are interested, that may be the best suitable person for being an expert, right? So here I have taken 5 factors or 5 barriers, and suppose I have taken one expert. Now I am going to analyze all these data with the results of with the feedback of one expert only. If you are having more than one expert, then what will happen? You can make the average. What I've written here, you can see that A means average matrix. Average matrix is what? Suppose you are having 5 experts. So you can take the feedback from first expert, that is A1, second expert, A2, third expert, A3. Ultimately, you have to make this average matrix by averaging all the responses. But here I'm going to showcase you all the analysis on the basis of one expert. Now the question arises in the research paper which you will write for journal, what should be the number of experts? So I've already told you, can anyone write in the comment box that what should be the minimum number of experts? If you were attentive in the last session, then definitely you can respond it. Any one of you? What should be the minimum number of experts for DEMATEL analysis? Okay, no response I've received yet. Just let it check. Okay, 5. Very good. Means you all were there. So minimum number of experts should be 5, right? So 5 for the safer side, you can take the experts more than 10. And just one thing here I want to mention, whenever you are trying to take the number of experts, try to make the number of experts in odd numbers. Suppose 11, 13, or 15, or 9, right? Why the odd numbers are required? There's no specific reason behind it. The only reason is, suppose if there is tie amongst the experts, so if the number is even, then definitely it will be very difficult for us to choose the correct option. But if the experts are in odd number, then definitely there will never be tie. Either 6 will, suppose we are having 11 experts, so it might happen that 5 are in favor and 6 are not in favor, right? So in that case, we will go for the veto power, means majority. So if 6 are saying no, we will select no. So in such type of emergency cases, what can we do? We can have the number of experts in odd numbers, right? So suppose here what I've done, I've taken the response from any expert, and how can you get your questionnaire filled? So suppose what I have decided, I have identified 5 barriers. So these 5 barriers are here. So you have to make a matrix of 5 cross 5. In the row, you have to mention all those 5 barriers, and in columns also you have to mention all those 5 barriers. So you can just see here SPLR, LAECTR. These 5 barriers are written in rows, and the same barriers in the same order are written in the columns also. So this will be your questionnaire. You have to make this thing. Suppose you are having 10 barriers or 10 factors. So you will be making 10 rows of the same factors and 10 columns of the same factors. So matrix will be n cross n, right? So if we are having 5 factors, so 5 cross 5 matrix is here. I hope this process is clear. This is the process of making questionnaire, right? If the process is clear to you, then you can just raise the thumb or you can write yes, because stepwise I will be moving ahead. Okay, clear. All right. Thank for your response. Now, suppose you should tell me that what you are perceiving it. Here, I've already told you that whenever you are trying to get it filled, then how will you read this matrix? This matrix should be read in this manner. Suppose SP is having the influence of SP. So means social perception, the influence of the impact of social perception on social perception, it is insignificant. So that is why I have written zero, all zero, all zero. Why? Because the impact of LR on LR, there's no significance of this. The impact or the influence of lack of awareness on lack of awareness, again, no significance of that. So already I have mentioned these zero diagonally. Why? Because I don't want to make any mistake in between. Now rest all the cells should be filled by you, right? By you means you have to get it filled by the experts. So suppose you are my expert for this particular session and I am asking the same question from you, and as per your response I am going to fill this particular matrix, and then I will analyze the matrix for you all. And believe me, after this session you will be able to analyze the matrix very easily and you can write your paper on. So just tell me, suppose you are understanding the topic AI adoption. If you want to use the generative AI for your academic purpose, for writing a paper or anything, then what may be the barrier? You are saying that social perception means people are not considering this thing ethical, this thing good. So this might be a barrier. Limited resources. You are not having the full access of all sorts of AI tools, because those tools are licensed or those tools requiring some sort of fees, and you are not having that much thing with you. So again, these are the limited resources. Lack of awareness means you are not knowing how to use that AI. So again, awareness is not there with you. So this might be a barrier. Ethical concern. Ethical concern, again, it is somehow related to the social perception, means ethically it is not advisable that you should make your note, you should prepare your research paper with the help of generative AI. It is not acceptable at all. So again, this is the barrier. And the trust. So whatsoever the result you are going to get from the artificial intelligence, means we cannot ensure that the result is correct or not. So trust issues also be there, right? So these all five barriers are there. So now just tell me, because I've explained all the barriers in a better manner so that you can respond accordingly. Now let me know, what do you think? Is there any impact of social perception on limited resources? Yes or no? If yes, then you have to just tell me that how much impact is this. Here what can we do? We can use some sort of scaling, and that scaling is what? From 0 to 4. If I'm saying 0, 0 means there is no influence, 1 is low influence, 2 is moderate influence, 3 is high influence, and 4 is very high influence. So what you are required to do, you have to just tell me the values between 0 to 4. I hope the concept of 0 to 4 is clear. 0 to 4 means no influence and very, very extremely high influence. So from no influence to extremely high influence, all the values are in between. So, okay, some people are saying 2. Okay, all right. So I'm going to put 2 here. All right. Similarly, what do you think? Is social perception can affect lack of awareness? If yes, then how much? Okay. Some are saying 4, some are saying 3. I've got 2, 3. So suppose I'm going to get it 3. This is just for your demonstration. So no need that my value is not going to be selected. This is not a matter. 4, 3, any value can be there. After that, you can just do the calculation for your own after getting all the values, right? So for the time being, I'm writing here 3. Okay, now next one is social perception. Can social perception affect that ethical concern? If yes, then how much? If no, then there will be 0. So this is for, I think 4 is for, you are using 4 for EC, right? So this is EC. Then next, social perception and TR means the impact of social perception on trust. Social perception on trust, 4. Very nice. Okay. Now, again, what do you think? What is the impact of limited resources on social perception? Whether limited resources are responsible for social perception? If yes, then how much? 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4? So someone is saying 2, 2, 3. So I'm going to take 2, right? All right. Then the next one is limited resources on lack of awareness. So what do you think? Whether the limited resources can affect lack of awareness? Yes or no? If yes, someone is writing 4, Pankaj Singh is writing 4, Kiran 3. So any other is a 4. I'm going to write it 4. Okay. I'm going along with majority. Then limited resources for EC. Yes. Can I have any response? 4. All right. Then limited resources for TR. I hope you all are aware what I'm doing. I'm just asking the impact of rows on columns, the effect of rows on columns, right? So in that manner, you have to respond me. So I'm going to write 4 here. Now next one is lack of awareness. What will be the impact of lack of awareness on SP? 3. Okay, very good. Then next one is lack of awareness on LR. Lack of awareness. Okay, 2. Next, lack of awareness on EC. EC4. Okay. Then next one is lack of awareness on TR. 3. All right. Then the next one. Ethical concern. Is ethical concern responsible for SP? Means can it affect social perception? Ethical concern? Yes. Okay. 4. Then ethical concern is responsible for LR. Can it affect LR? Someone is saying 1. Okay, I'm going to take 1 because I've not taken the value 1. These are the random value. You should not bother about all these values because these values you will get from the expert side, right? But here I just want to show you the analysis part. Okay, the next one will be 3. Okay, all right. The next one is again 3. All right. Thank you. And the last one, trust. Can trust affect SP? If yes, then how much? 3. All right. Then trust LR. Again 3. Fine. Then trust LA 2. Okay. And trust EC. How much? 2. All right. Okay. Now there's no need to give response because all the cells are filled now, right? So by this way, you can collect the questionnaire. Means you can get the questionnaire filled and you can collect it from expert. The same thing you have to do along with your own questionnaire, and you have to provide that questionnaire to the experts, and you will be making the request to them. Just please fill it accordingly and send it back to us, right? So suppose you are getting this response, right? Now, if you are having suppose 5 respondents or 5 experts, then what will happen? Expert 1 is having this response. Expert 2 will be having some types of responses. Expert 3 will be having some type of responses. So ultimately what you have to do, you have to make the average of all the values. Suppose first cell is 0, second expert is saying in first cell 1, third expert is saying in first cell 2. So you have to add all the values and divide it by total number of experts. So it is very easy to find out the average. You can get it easily, right? And in Excel, you can use the formula also. Now, this is the first step. I hope the first step of DEMATEL is clear. Any response if I'm getting, then I'll, yes, all right. Now, after doing this, your work starts. You are having the average matrix with you. Now, what you do? You will now make this matrix normalized. Now, what is the meaning of normalized? Normalized matrix is basically what? Suppose I hope you all are aware about the concept of percentile, right? Suppose if some student has got 70 marks out of 100. So what we are going to do? We are going to make the 70 marks that was the highest marks as a base, and rest all other marks will be compared on the basis of 17 instead of base marks of 100, right? So this is the basic concept of normalization. So what we are going to do, we are going to make the normalized matrix with the help of this average matrix. So how can we make the normalized matrix? For this, you have to find out the maximum value. As I've already told you, that how can you make the percentile on the basis of highest or the maximum value. So here the same thing we are going to apply. We are going to do the same thing. Okay. Auto sum, this is 13 and I'm going to drag it. All right. So what is the highest value? What is the highest value of each row? Just check it. The highest value among all the values which we have got after sum, that is 14. Very good. So this is the highest value, right? So how can we make the normalized matrix? We are going to divide all these elements which are written inside the cells by this highest value, and then we will get the normalized matrix, right? So I'm going to do this thing here. You have to simply apply the formula. What we are going to do? We are going to divide this cell by 14. I hope this is clear. Enter, right? So this is 0. Now I'm going to drag it. Then all right. I hope this is clear. Yes, your B4 by G5, you can do it, or simply you can just divide it by 14. There's no issue. All right. So this is the normalized matrix. Now, after getting the normalized matrix, I think the second step is also clear. You have to follow all these steps ultimately, because my objective is that you all should write at least one paper on the DEMATEL analysis. Just identify 15, 16 factors from your own domain and make this type of questionnaire, get it filled by 9, 10 or 11 experts, and then do the analysis. This analysis is very, very easy. All the things will be done through Excel, and ultimately you have to report all the things in the paper and you can get your paper published. Right now, there is 3 papers of mine have been accepted in Scopus Indexed, and 3 are under review, and including Q1 journal of Emerald, right? So you can believe that you can do it very easily. There's nothing very complicated things inside this DEMATEL analysis. So I hope step 2 is clear. Shall we move ahead? Okay. Now step 3. Step 3 is very easy. What is step 3? You have to make the identity matrix. Identity matrix is very easy to form. Just make all the diagonal elements 1 and rest all other elements are 0. So you can make it manually if you're not knowing how to get it. So just make all the diagonal element 1, rest all other element, just put 0 over there. So this is your basically identity matrix, right? So till now we have done 3 steps. Average matrix, how we can get the average matrix, the average of all the responses of the experts. Then normalized matrix, the highest value which we will get from the average matrix in the sum of rows, that and rest all other values will be divided by that highest value, that is normalized, then identity matrix. Now here in the next step, what we are going to do, we are going to subtract this identity matrix and this normalized matrix, means I minus n. So here what is required? You have to subtract these two matrices. So how can you subtract these two matrices? It is very easy in Excel. Simply apply the formula. Okay, is there any question? Identity is written only. I think this is clear. Any doubt? Identity matrix is this matrix. Okay, identity matrix. Identity matrix is what? Matrix that contains diagonal element 0, rest all other elements should be diagonal element should be 1, rest all other elements should be 0. If you are having such type of matrix, that matrix will be called as identity matrix. Is it clear? Right? So this is very easy to make because there's no complication in it. You can put all the values manually. Just put 1 here, then diagonal 1 here, diagonal 1 here, diagonal 1 here, diagonal 1 here. Rest all other value put 0, 0, 0. I hope this is clear. Identity matrix, you can make it because n cross n matrix will be there. So diagonal matrix will be 1, and diagonal elements will be 1, rest all other elements will be 0. Okay, normalized matrix, please look at here. Normalized matrix is very easy to get. Just divide all these all elements by the maximum value of the row total. What is row total? First row total is 13. You can add it manually. 4 plus 4, 8 plus 3, 11 plus 2, 13 plus 0, 13. So this is 13. Similarly, what can you do? You can add these values. This is 14, this is 12, this is 11, this is 10. So what is the maximum value of row total? That is 14. So divide all these elements by 14. So if you are dividing all these elements by 14, you will get this type of matrix. This is called the normalized matrix. I hope this is clear now. And for doing this, you have to use one formula. Formula is what? Simple formula is there. Just divide this cell by 14 and drag it. Okay, fine. All right. So I hope you all are with me till here. Now we are going to find out the I minus n. I minus n is what? Identity matrix minus normalized matrix. So I'm going to do this thing for you all. Identity matrix is this minus normalized matrix is this. Enter. This is the value. Now drag it. You will get the result. Now you have got the I minus n. So you can see that how easy the things are. But why the things are easy? Because you are understanding parallelly along with me. After some time, if you are showing this entire screen to someone who has not joined from the beginning, he will find the entire thing very difficult to understand, right? So that is why the things are very easy sometimes, but we are not able to understand. That is why we are not working on that. So means my suggestion is that please go for the DEMATEL paper. You all can get published your DEMATEL paper. If you are having any problem anywhere, you can contact me at any time. You can just have the interaction with the Tiwari sir. He can provide my email address and instantly I will revert if you are having any problem anywhere, right? So I minus n. I hope this matrix is clear to all. Simply you have to put the formula, interpret I minus n. I minus n is what? The difference between identity matrix and normalized matrix. Now, what is the explanation? Explanation is what? These all are the steps involved in the DEMATEL process, right? DEMATEL process is having a lot of steps inside, and these all are the steps which you have to perform. So after finding out normalized matrix, how can you visualize the normalized matrix? You have to subtract this normalized matrix by this identity matrix. So this identity matrix you have to make from your own side. This normalized matrix will you will get by the responses of the experts, right? Ultimately, we have subtracted these two things. Okay, now we are going to do the very, very important operation here, because ultimately the ultimate objective of DEMATEL technique is to get this T. What is this T? This is called the total relation matrix, and the entire calculation, entire analysis will be based on this T. But for obtaining this T, we are doing all these things, right? So how can we get this T? We are just about to reach over here. So, but before that, just look at here. When once you have got I minus n, means the difference of identity matrix and normalized matrix, you have got this matrix. Now what is required to find out the inverse of this matrix? I minus n means you have to find out the inverse of I minus n matrix, this entire matrix. Now how can you find the inverse? Manually you cannot find the inverse of this matrix because that is very complicated, right? So how can we get it? With the help of this Excel. There is one formula. If you want to note it down, then you can note M inverse. As you are putting M in, you will get this one, M inverse, right? So you can get this thing, M inverse, but that will not work. First of all, I want to show you what will happen if I'm doing something, right? Suppose you are putting the formula over here, M inverse. So what I've done, I've applied the formula M inverse. Now I'm going to select this entire table because it is requiring array. You can see here in M inverse is requiring array. So the array is this entire area, this entire space, right? Now I'm going to close the bracket and enter. So we have got this value, but if you are trying to drag it, you will not find any value, right? Why it is happening? Because this step is very important, because rest all steps you will get the answer easily. But in terms of inverse, you have to apply the entire M inverse formula in a very specific manner. So you will not get any result here. Only first value will be there. Rest all other values will not be there, right? So you will not get. So what you are required to do, just look at here once again. If you want to find out the inverse, so definitely inverse will be of any given matrix. So here the inverse is of which matrix? I minus n matrix, right? So we want to find out the inverse of I minus n matrix. So what will we do? We will firstly select this entire area, right? Because the M inverse function requires array. So first of all, we will select this entire area because we want to put all the values in all the cells. So firstly, select all this area. Now apply the formula. What formula? M inverse, right? So here, whenever you will be applying the formula M inverse, it will be requiring array. So just select the array. This is the array selected. Now close the bracket. Now very important. If you are just press enter, if you are pressing enter, it will not work, right? So what is required to do? Just press Control, Shift, and enter. I hope this step is clear, because only this step will create some sort of hurdle for you in the entire analysis part. Rest all is okay, right? Okay, all clear. Very good, very nice. So this is basically the operation which we want to do. And in the last session, I was stuck over here because my Excel was hanged, right? So this time it worked, and I hope I'm clear whatsoever I am trying to tell you people. All right. So we have got I minus n inverse, and I am giving it a separate name, that is M. So now ultimately we are getting the matrix M. What is the matrix M? Matrix M is nothing but the inverse of I minus n, right? Now last step. Last step is what? Now we want to find out the total relation matrix, and total relation matrix is what? Total relation matrix is a multiplication of n into m. What is n? N is this normalized matrix, and m is this inverse matrix. So you have to multiply these two matrices, this n and this m. If you are multiplying these two matrices, then you will get all these cells, right? So again, what is required? You have to multiply all these values. So just put the formula. What is the formula? M mult, right? This is the formula. For finding out the inverse, you have to use the formula M inverse. And for multiplying two matrix, you have to use the formula M multiplication. M mult means matrix multiplication. What is this? Matrix multiplication. So you have to use this formula. Now what is required? You have to select array 1. This is the entire matrix, comma. Now select this matrix, n into m. So we have selected both the matrix. Close the bracket. Again, Control, Shift, Enter. This is the final matrix which was ultimately required for analyzing the DEMATEL technique, right? So this is basically the matrix which I want to get ultimately. I hope you all are with me till here. All right, good. So all are with me? Yes, got it. Now you can do the analysis. How can you do the analysis? Just look at here. After getting this T is what? This is total relation matrix. After getting this T, what can you do? You can find out the row total and column total. The row total will be called as Ri, and the column total will be called as Cj. So just calculate it. So first of all, I'm going to calculate row total. So row total is this. I'm going to drag it. This is the row total. I hope row total is clear. Similarly, what can we do? We can find the column total. So this is the column total. This is the column total, right? Is there any problem? Row total, column total? No. Now you can see that this is basically, just wait. This is basically that table which we have to fill. So here you have to make all the factors, all the barriers in the rows. Suppose SP, LR, LA, EC, all the factors are written here, all the barriers are written here. Now we are going to put the value of Ri here. So Ri is this value. I'm going to copy this value and I'm going to paste it here, right? Now, you have to remember that whenever you are copying something from here and if you are trying to paste it here, then you have to paste only values. If you are trying to Control C and Control V, then what will happen? The value will be changed. Why? Because here formula is used, right? So you have to just copy all the values from here and then special only value. Yes, use. Right. Very good. So you have two values only here, right? You have to put the special values only. Similarly, you have to put this Cj under the column Cj. So directly, because this is horizontal, this is vertical. So first of all, I'm going to copy this thing here in terms of values. And now I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it here in transpose. Now this is the CI, right? Ri plus Cj. This is basically the Cj, right? This is Cj. I hope Ri and Cj, how we get it, it is clear. Yes. All right. So Ri plus Cj. Now you have to add these two values. Ri you have got it from the matrix T. Cj you have got it from the matrix T. Now you have to add these two values, Ri plus Cj. So how can you add it? Simply formula will be applicable here. This value plus this value, enter. This is the Ri plus Cj, drag it. This is Ri plus Cj, right? Similarly, you have to calculate Ri minus Cj also. So you will put formula again, Ri minus Cj, enter, and just drag it, right? So these all are the values. Now, on the basis of these values, you can conclude something. And what is the conclusion? In the last session, I have discussed that all the values of Ri minus Cj, again, some mistake is here. Here, this is Cj, and again, this is Cj, right? So this is Cj. All right. So what is required? If Ri minus Cj is positive, then that factor will be the cause factor, right? If Ri minus Cj is positive, then that factor is the cause factor. And if Ri minus Cj is negative, then that factor will be the effect factor. So you have seen that initially what we have done, initially we have taken 5 barriers. And at that moment, we were not aware about these barriers, that which barrier is cause barrier and which barrier is effect barrier. But ultimately, by the application of DEMATEL, what we have concluded that these 3 factors are the cause factor and last 2 factors are the effect factor. So this is the beauty of this DEMATEL technique, right? So you haven't done anything from your side. All the things are done on the basis of certain logic, certain application, certain formula, right? So you can just produce the same result in your paper and you can just forward your paper for the publication, right? Now the important thing is what? How can you interpret all these things? Because ultimately, after doing analysis, you have to write down the results and discussion, right? So in results and discussion, what should be reported? So first of all, in results, you will be just reporting all these things, that which one is the most important factor, which one is the least important factor. So this Ri plus Cj, this value is giving you the significance. So the highest Ri plus Cj value will be the most significance factor. So most significant factor here is social perception, right? Because the highest value is this. You can use the formula also, but only 5 values are here. So we can easily compare that which value is the highest value. So the highest value is 11.5. It means this is the most significant factor. And why we are calling it the most significant factor? Because it is also coming into the cause group at the same time. So the factor which is having the highest CRI plus CJ value, and if that factor is coming into the cause group also, it means that factor is very important and the policy makers or the decision makers should uh, be focused on that factor on the priority basis. Means whenever we are trying to make certain rules, certain policies, then which factor will be the most important factor for us? This social perception, right? Similarly, the second important factor might be here to 11.286. So you can say ethical concern might be the second important factor. Why? Because the most significant factor is, it is the second most significant factor. But you can see that at the same time, this factor is coming under the effect group. So definitely this factor is very, very important, but this is not a cause factor. This is the effect factor. What is the effect factor? The effect factor are basically the outcome of the cause factor. So what can you say? You can say that this is the ethical concern is the outcome of all other factors, right? So ethical concern might be the significant, but it is not coming under the cause factor. So this might be the sensitive factor. If we are not considering this thing, then there might be some problem, but this cannot affect the entire system directly. And you can understand it because you have given the responses in the same manner, that ethical concern is some sort of psychological things from your side, which is coming from your side, right? If you are doing something unethical, if you are not going to disclose that thing, that is not going to affect anyone. But ultimately, you are knowing that you have not done the things correct, right? So that is why it is coming under the effect group. I hope I am clear what I am trying to say. Yes or no? All right. So by this, you can just explain this entire concept into your paper, right? So this is the basically the journey of the DEMATEL, that how can you analyze the DEMATEL results and how can you interpret the results. So ultimately, what you will report that the entire barriers are divided into two groups, cause and effect. In cause group, there are three factors, and in effect group, there are two factors, right? Or two barriers. So the decision maker should be focused to the cause group firstly, because cause group are going to affect the system directly. So if we are making some sort of rule, some sort of guideline, some sort of policy, then definitely we should take care of that cause group factors, right? So, and rest all other things will be there, but these are the results and how can you interpret these results. Parallelly, along with this, I want to showcase you one more thing. Before moving ahead, Ri can be zero theoretically. Ri minus Cj can be zero theoretically. If Ri minus Cj is zero, then what will happen? It means that factor is independent, isolated factor is that. That factor is neither coming under the cause group nor coming under the effect group, means that factor is useless for the study. So we should not consider that factor at all. Just remove that factor from the study, because the result is showing that suppose if I am saying the barrier, the major barrier, you have taken five factors. Suppose six factor, I'm saying the six factor may be the price of the milk. So whether the price of the milk can affect the AI adoption? If no, then definitely that factor will get the zero. Ri minus Cj means that factor is neither coming under effect group nor coming into the cause group. So that factor might be zero, means any factor can be zero, but if some factors are getting zero, it means that factor is useless for your study. Remove that factor from your study. That is not important at all, right? All right. So this is all about your DEMATEL. I hope the DEMATEL process is clear. So my suggestion for you all, just identify your domain first of all and try to find out some topic related to that, and then identify at least 15-16 factors through the literature review, and then make a questionnaire like this, n cross n, and get it filled by 11. You can take 11 basically, and the other like fuzzy DEMATEL. Sir, only DEMATEL is sufficient for a good analysis for a quality publication, or any other tool like fuzzy DEMATEL? Okay. So this is a very good question. Basically, what who has asked? Just let me check. Okay, Rami, who has asked this question? Uh, Ramisha, right? So fuzzy DEMATEL is basically what? Just listen. Nowadays, what is happening in the publication? Basically, the buzzwords are basically attracting to the editors as well as the reviewers, right? So if you are applying DEMATEL, then definitely the reviewers may ask the question, why you have adopted DEMATEL only? Why not fuzzy DEMATEL? Because these days fuzzy DEMATEL in the trend, right? Even gray metal is in trend. So fuzzy DEMATEL, gray DEMATEL, there are a lot of extension of DEMATEL. So what can you respond to this question? You can just quote some previous paper which are based on DEMATEL and just try to console them that there are so many researches available which are using DEMATEL and providing the best results. So on the basis of those previous researches, I have used this DEMATEL here, right? But if someone is asking whether fuzzy DEMATEL can give you the better results, definitely fuzzy DEMATEL can give you more, miss, that will not give you the more better result. I cannot say this, but fuzzy DEMATEL make the respondents more convenient, right? Now look at here, because this was not proposed to cover the fuzzy DEMATEL, but I just want to introduce what is fuzzy DEMATEL here. Fuzzy DEMATEL is using some sort of fuzzy scaling, fuzzy linguistic scaling, right? So fuzzy linguistic scaling is what? Because if suppose what I have done here, when I was using DEMATEL, then at that moment I've asked you about the responses in terms of numbers, right? In terms of number, I've asked, okay, just let me know what will be the impact of SP on LR. So you have told me that it is 2. But suppose in your mind somewhere it might be sir 2.5 according to me, right? But I have not given you the option of 2.5. What I have given you the option, either 2 or 3 or 4 or 0 or 1. But suppose you are in between somewhere. You are saying, sir, it is not exactly 2, it is not exactly 3, it is in between somewhere. 2.33 might be the answer. So in DEMATEL technique, you cannot use those type of fractional values, right? But in fuzzy DEMATEL, definitely you can use that, because fuzzy DEMATEL is using the fuzzy linguistic, where the respondents are not supposed to give their answers in terms of numbers. In fuzzy DEMATEL, the respondents are going to give their answers in terms of characteristics, means in terms of qualitative phenomena. Like if you are asking social perception can affect the LR, and you are saying very influencing. So you are writing VI, or you are writing LI, means low, least influencing. So here the respondents are very convenient to give their responses, because they are not bound in the numbers. Because sometimes what they are doing the things on their experiences basis, and they are not finding the things falling into the 2 or the 3 category. They are falling in between 2 to 3. And ultimately, whenever you're getting the qualitative responses, then you are trying to convert those qualitative responses into the numbers by using those linguistic. That is the fuzzy DEMATEL. Rest all steps are same, because fuzzy DEMATEL is what? It is including the DEMATEL algorithm. So rest all other step will be same. Only the step which is different, that is the initial step where you are getting the responses from the respondent. I hope I am clear. My question is, can this test be used as a precondition for regression analysis? Oh, basically, this is a qualitative phenomena. This is a qualitative analysis, right? So for regression, what is required? Yes, definitely. I hope you all have gone through the ISM session yesterday. ISM, interpretive structural modeling, be used for only for quantitative analysis. Oh, no, yes, you have gone through. So in ISM technique, what you have seen in the ISM technique, you have seen that ISM is capable enough to divide all these factors into the various levels, right? So what the level you have obtained there, those levels may be the conceptual framework, conceptual model, right? And you can test those model ultimately through some sort of statistical tools like smart PLS or amos. You can apply all the statistical things over there, and there the regression will work, right? But here, if you are trying to find out these factors, so you are just trying to explain the characteristics of the factor. If you want to make some sort of regression analysis, then definitely you have to make all the construct or all the factors into the dependent or independent variables, right? But here you cannot say that these are the dependent variable and these are the independent variable. Dependent and independent variable can be classified under ISM in the micmac technique, right? So whenever you are using ISM technique, in that ISM technique, you are using micmac graph. In micmac graph, you can easily see that which factor is independent factor, which is a dependent factor. And ultimately, on the basis of those dependent, independent, you can make a model and you can just apply the regression tool like PLS, MOS, anything, right? So this is all about this DEMATEL. So for fuzzy DEMATEL, if you are knowing how to analyze the DEMATEL technique, the fuzzy DEMATEL will be very easy for you, because one step is different. Rest all the steps are same. You have to do all these things once again. In fuzzy DEMATEL, again, you have to find out the normalized matrix, identity matrix, inverse, multiplication. And again, here you have to give the same result, right? Now the next very important thing, please wait. I think battery is discharged my laptop. Please wait for a moment. I'm just going to connect it with power. Yes. No, the question is, sir, how relevant is this for social science discipline, or is it only limited to commerce and management discipline only? No, this basically DEMATEL technique can be used anywhere where you are involving the decision, right? Because this is the part of or this is the technique for multi-criteria decision making. So in social sciences, definitely there might be so many cases where you are just trying to take the decision on the basis of various factors. So if you are trying to take the decision, if you are trying to make the decision, then how can you make the decision on the basis of various factors? If you are knowing which factor is most important and which factor is less important, if you are knowing this thing, then you can take the decision easily. So this is applicable everywhere. This can be applied in social sciences, in commerce, in management, everywhere where you are using the qualitative things of the mm, what you can say, where you are using the qualitative aspect, you can use this DEMATEL technique. For that, what is required? You should have some sort of options, because until unless you are not having multi criteria, you cannot use this, because this is the technique for multi criteria decision making. If you are having only one criteria, then what is the use of doing all these things? I hope this is clear. All right. So now last part of this study is very important, to make the digraph. Digraph of what? Digraph of this DEMATEL. Now look at what is the digraph and how can you make it. Again, just look at here. Now find out the digraph, what is required to do. Just, I hope you all are with me again. Just, can anyone write? Okay. Now look at here. How can you find out the digraph? How can you make the digraph? Because sometimes you can see the digraph in the paper of DEMATEL, and you will find what is this, because this is a very complicated structure. How can we make this? So you can easily make that graph. Just try to understand what we are going to do here, right? So for making that particular graph or digraph of DEMATEL, what is required? You have to find out the average of this T, means total matrix, the total relationship matrix. You have to find out the average of total relationship matrix. So suppose I'm going to get the average of total relationship matrix, right? So this is the average. I hope this is clear. What I have done, I have find out the average of this entire total relation matrix. Here, Ri and Cj will be excluded, because no need to find out the average of these values. Only this much. From Sp to Tr, you have to find out the average of all these values. So what is the average of all these values? You can find it out by the formula, or manually you can do it, but it will take long time to do it manually. So the 1.09 is the average value. I hope this value is clear to all. Yes. I'm not getting any response. Okay, yes. Now look at here. What will you do? Just try to find out. This is called the threshold value. What is this? This is called the threshold value, right? This is called the threshold value. So what will the threshold value do? You have to compare all the values in the cell of matrix T with the threshold value. The value which is greater than this threshold value, that value should be considered, and rest all other values should be left, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the arrangement of all those values which are more than this threshold value 1.09. So what can we do? We can apply some, just a minute. We can apply the conditional formatting here, and that conditional formatting will be very useful for us to find out the values. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight those cells which are having the values more than 1.09, right? So I'm going to make this thing 1.0, 1.09. Now you can see here, these all values are greater than 1.09, means these all values are greater than this threshold value. Now look at here, what will you do? You have to make the graph, right? Digraph. So digraph is what? Digraph is basically a relationship among all the factors, all the barriers. So how many barriers are here? 5 barriers. So what can we do? We can just make the barriers here like this. Suppose this is the first barrier. I'm going to copy it. This is the second barrier. This is the third barrier. This is the fourth barrier. And this is the fifth barrier, right? Suppose this is the barrier. You have arranged like this. The shape is as per your wish. Now what will we do? Just look at here. All right. So now write down the name also. This is SP. Suppose this is LR. This is LR. This is LA. This is EC. And this is TR. Right? This is SP. Now look at here. Now this highlighted cell, just look at the highlighted cell. The first value is SP. So in front of SP row, the highlighted values are LAECTR, means this social perception is affecting LAEC and TR significantly, right? So what can we do? We can just draw the arrow from SP to all these barriers. So just do it. Again, insert arrow. So SP to LR, then not SP to LA. So SP to LA. SP to LA, right? Then SP to EC. Again, you have to make next line SP to EC. Then SP to TR. Make a third line SP to TR, right? Now look at LR, the second row. The second row is affecting SP, LA, EC, and LR, only the highlighted cells, right? So we can draw a arrow from LR to SP. So LR to SP, again make this thing, LR to SP, then LR to LA, LR to LA, then from LR to next one is EC. So you can make LR to EC. Then next one is LR to TR, LR to TR. This is now the next LA. From LA, again from LA, you have to draw an arrow from LA to SP. So from here to here, then from LA to EC. Again, you have to select it from here, LA to EC. Now from LA to TR, right? LA to TR. Then again EC. From EC, what is required? From EC to SP, from EC to SP, then from EC to TR, from EC to TR, from EC to TR, right? So this is the diagram. I hope this is clear. Now you can see that there is one factor, that is TR. It doesn't affect significantly to any other factor. That is why it is coming under the effect. Means it is the effect factor. It is receiving all the effects from all other factors, but it is not affecting to anyone, right? So this is the diagram. So whenever you are making your analysis, just make this type of graph. This is called the DEMATEL diagram, and just put this diagram into your paper, because that diagram is very important to explain, because this arrow, the direction of arrow is showing the importance. What is the importance? From LR to SP, from SP to LA, means this is impacting this, but SP is not impacting this. You can just interpret this thing that the arrow is coming from SP to TR, but the arrow is not going from TR to SP. It means SP is affecting TR, but TR is not affecting SP. So this diagram is very important to represent in your research paper, right? I hope this is clear. All right. So Tiwari sir, how much time is left? Can I go along with AHP? Because I just want to give the short introduction of AHP.
How much time you need, sir?
Sir,
It is 5 minutes more.
yes, because I want to introduce AHP also. Just ask from this
So
from the group if they are interested to know. Then I can tell them how to do the HP work. Otherwise, I can wind it up. It is up to the means
okay,
Mr.
5 to 10 minutes you can take, sir.
All right. How we got threshold values? Threshold value is very easy to obtain. You have to find out the average of the matrix T. Means total relation matrix T, you have to find out the average of this total relation matrix. How can you do it? Just apply the formula average. You can see here the formula will be average is equal to average and select the entire array and enter. You will get the answer. Right? Okay. Now I'm coming on the second part, that is AHP. Now AHP is what? Now yesterday you have seen the ISM was there, right? What was ISM doing? ISM was basically dividing the entire factors into the levels, right? So means ISM was making the levels, but ISM was not telling you the importance of the factors. DEMATEL is telling both the things. It is dividing the factors into the cause and effect as well, and it is also providing the RI plus CJ. So RI plus CJ is what? Significance level. But AHP alone AHP can provide you the ranking of the factors. Means AHP will give you the direct ranking, that which factor will be rank 1, which factor will be on rank 2, which factor will be on rank 3. So this type of results are sometimes very important to to set the priorities, right? So how can we do this thing? I just want to show you. There are two types of algorithm. One algorithm is manually you can do that HP process on this Excel, but that is too lengthy and too time taking. So there are so many macros available, and there are so many softwares available on the internet, which are freely access, open access, and you can put all the values over there and you can get the result. I just want to showcase you the result of the same barriers, right? So let me minimize. My screen is visible. Whatsoever I'm doing on my screen, it is visible or not?
Yes, sir, it is good.
Okay. So now I've just minimized all the windows. Now I want to open this Google. So this is visible. This Google Sheet is visible. It means this dashboard, right? No. Okay. That is why I'm asking, because ultimately I have to share it once again. Okay, let me open first, then I will share this thing. HP. This is, wait, on the back end, all the things are going on. All right. Google. Now let me know whether this page is visible or not. Okay, the page is visible now. Fine. Now look at here. You have to, if you want to take the screenshot of this, this is, otherwise I will share the link to Tiwari sir, and he will share that link to the group also. So this is basically the link through which you can land on this page, right? This is basically the link. So what is this page all about? This page is all about the HP online system, right? Now, what is HP online system? What is HP? I hope this is clear. HP is analytical hierarchy process. It is written here, analytic hierarchy process. Analytic hierarchy process can give you the, means can give the ranks to the factors or the barriers, right? That which factor is on first rank, which factor is on second rank. Now, I just want to showcase you the practical things on that. So here you can see there are so many options available. So you have to go to the HP priority calculator. So if you are interested to apply this HP in your research paper, then what is required? Go to this page And here you will find the second option, that is HP priority calculator. Just click on it. This page is visible to all. I'm not able to see your comment. Yes. Okay. Now here, what can you see? Just look at here. It is asking something. What it is asking? Input number and names, right? So input number and names means how many factor have you identified? So suppose in our example, how many factors we have taken or how many barriers we have taken? I'm just going to put the HP on the same data. So how many barriers we have identified? Any response? Today we have done DEMATEL, then how many? 5. Very good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it 5 instead of 3. 3 will be by default there, right? So I have taken 5. Suppose you have identified 15 factors, so just put 15 here. Are you getting my point? Right? So whatsoever the number is, you have to just put that number. And this number is for what? This number is for barriers or drivers or factors. Now, after putting this number, just click on go. Now it is asking the name. So what are the names? I think the names were SP, then LR, then LA, then EC, and last one was, I think, TR, right? These were the names. You can put the complete name like social perception. Well, what was LR? That was resources, limited resources. LA was something, I think, awareness, right? So you can write down the full name also. 45 characters it can take. Now click on OK. This is the dashboard which is open now here. So what is required? Just look at here. This is very important to fill it. How can you fill it? So basically you are not going to fill it. You are going to get it filled by the experts, right? So you can just take this type of questionnaire and you can send it to the expert and they can give you the number. So how can we say, how can we read this? We can read this that SP is preferred over LR, right? If how can we read this statement? Suppose SPLR, SPLA, SPEC, these all things are written here. So the first point is, how can we read this first point? We will say that SP is preferred over LR. This is a statement. Means always what we will be doing, we will be just checking the preference of rows over the columns. So what we are saying, SP is preferred over LR. Now these are the scaling. So these are from 1 to 9. So N is talking about the equal, means SP is preferred over LR. No, both are equal. So if both are equal, then you have to click on one. But if you are saying no, sir, SP is preferred over LR, then the second question, how much preferred over? Means extremely preferred over, that is 9. Means moderately preferred over, that might be 6. Or you can select any values from 2 to 9. If both are equal, then you will select 1. Otherwise, you will find out that whether SP is preferred over LR or not. So just anyone, just give me the response so that I can fill the responses and I can show you the results only, right? Let's let all other things we will do later on. Suppose someone is saying 6. The next point is SP is preferred over LA. What do you think? How much? If equal, then 1 will be there, otherwise 6. So, okay, 5. Then SP is preferred over EC. Okay, 7. Then SP is preferred over TR. Okay, 5. Then LR is preferred over. Now, again, LR means limited resources. Whether limited resources should be preferred over awareness. If you are saying yes, then it is okay. If you are means strongly agree to this statement, you will go 9, otherwise 2, 3. So someone is saying 8. Then next one, I'm randomly putting all the values, right? You can just check it because I just want to show you the results. So suppose these are the values, right? I hope this is clear. But whenever you are writing your paper, then definitely you should think on the statement and then you have to put the values, or otherwise the result will be invalid, right? So here what I have done, I have randomly selected the numbers and now I'm going to will fill or researcher has to fill. You can make this questionnaire. You can just take the printout from here and you can write the full name of this and you have to send it to the experts, and what the experts are required to do, they have to give these responses, and then ultimately you will be just putting all these values here. Suppose if you are getting the responses from 5 experts, then you can make the average. Suppose first one is saying 5, second one is saying 7, third one is saying 4. So you can take the average and you can put the 5, right? So this will be the things. All right. So now click on the calculate. No, this is the result, right? Now, what is happening? I just highlighted. So if, because I have filled all the values randomly, it means it has observed that I have not read the statement carefully. So these green highlighted values are saying that whatsoever I am saying, there is a contradiction, because here I am saying SP is preferred over LR, that is very high. And ultimately, what I am saying that LR is preferred, what is this? LR is preferred over SP. So means all these statements are contradiction. If the contradiction will be there, then this will be highlighting. Suppose if I am saying X is preferred over Y, in another statement, I am saying Y is preferred over Z, and ultimately I am saying Z is preferred over X. It means it is not possible at all. What I am trying to say, you are understanding? Suppose I am saying X is greater than Y, and then I'm saying Y is greater than Z, and lastly I'm saying Z is greater than X, whether it is possible. No, not possible, right? So this algorithm has caught this thing, because sometimes I'm saying SP is preferred over LR, and ultimately LR is preferred over something, means EC, and ultimately we are saying EC is preferred over SP. So it is just catching it. So what we have to do, we have to fill the suggested values, right? So again, the green value should be filled. Now again calculate. Now this time you are having the result with you, right? This is the result. And what is the result? Ultimately, you can see these are the ranks. You can see SP is on first rank, LR is on second rank, LA is on third rank, EC is on fourth rank, TR is on fifth rank. These are the ranks. I hope this is clear. Right? So these, and you can just take the screenshot of this and you can paste this result to the paper, or you can just copy it from here and you can paste it into the Excel and just make your own graph or chart as per your requirement, right? So this is showing that the result is, and again, there are few metrics also. Just try to understand what are the metrics available. Number of comparison. Number means what this algorithm is doing. Basically, this algorithm is doing the iteration process. Iteration process means firstly it is comparing this thing, then it is comparing this. You can see that how many comparison are there? 10 comparison. There is a basic rule. What is that rule? N minus 1 divided by 2. So if you are having n number of factors, then definitely there must be 10 means n minus 1 divided by 2 comparison. So what we have done, we have taken 5 factors, 5 barriers. So how many comparison will be there? There will be 10 comparison. 5 into 5 minus 1, that is 4 divided by 2, that is 2. So 5 into 2, 10. So here 10 comparison has been done. So these 10 comparison are done. And this CR is very important. Just look at here. This CR is very important. How can you say that these results are acceptable or not? If the CR value is less than 10%, if this CR value is less than 10%, then your result is acceptable. If it is more than 10%, it means the results are not acceptable at all, right? Like you are testing the hypothesis. Similarly, you can test the thing here also. If the value is less than 0.05, then what you are going to do? You are going to reject the hypothesis. Similarly, if here CR value is less than 10%, then it is acceptable, means this result is reliable. If it is more than 10%, you cannot say that this result is reliable or not, means there is something wrong with it, right? So this is the application of basically AHP. So through AHP priority calculator, you can easily find out the ranking, right? And so what can you do in your own paper? You can use the hybrid technology or hybrid methodology. Hybrid methodology means you can say that we are going to analyze the barriers of certain domain by applying DEMATEL and HP. So if you are using hybrid method, then definitely that will attract the reviewers and the editors as well as the readers, because they are able to get two things in a single paper, right? So that the chances of the acceptance of the paper will be higher. So this is all about from my side, because due to the lack of time, I've already taken your 15-minute extra, but there are so many things to discuss. I was having my own paper to showcase you, so that you can just know that how can we uh, report all the results and all the things. But due to the lack of time, I'm not able to do that thing with you all. Uh, doesn't matter. Suppose if I'm getting time, uh, means any time if I'm getting that opportunity to be along with you, then definitely I would like to share all these things with you all. That's all from my side, sir. And in between, if there is any question from any candidate, he can or she can write into this chat box. I will try to answer.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Rest is yours, sir.
Razina
Thank
ma'am.
Thank you all for giving such
Razina ma'am,
exciting
please unmute
comments.
yourself.
Thank you all
Unmute,
participants.
Thank you, sir. I'm pleased to be standing here on behalf of all the participants and SOEC and from the CMR University. And the session was really interesting, and I would be falling a short of my responsibility if I did not express my gratitude towards the session. And it was quite interesting, and we could see even the responses. All the participants were quite active in responding. That clearly shows that how you are successfully engaged all the participants, sir.
I would also like to add one thing that I found very interesting and enthusiastic means participants here. So
Yes,
means hats off to all the participants who were means interested during the entire session, and they were they were keep asking the question, they were keep responding, and that was the very good thing, because most of the time what is happening, I have attended so many FDPs, but respondents are idle, means they are just done the login, and what where they are means I cannot say. But here, every respondent was with me. That was the great session from my
yes,
side.
sir.
Thank you to all. Thank
We
you.
had a very enthusiastic participants here, sir. And finally, I also want to thank the man behind this entire event, Dr.
Hello.
who has been a strong pillar behind ensuring that bringing out the very good speakers and ensuring that the event happens in a very good way. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your support, sir. And I would also like to appreciate all the participants for being very enthusiastic and and trying to come out with ensuring that the event has been successful from all the respects. Thank you. Good night, everybody. With this, I will sign off.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Tiwari sir, for giving this
Thank you, sir.
opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
And once
Okay.
again, sir, once again, I would like to give one more reminder about the certification program about which we have already briefed you yesterday. And the same link is already shared on the FDP group. Whoever is interested, kindly complete the registrations. And as being requested, you can also share in your academic circles and among the student groups. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So all the best respondents, please write one paper on D-metal. And if you are having any doubt, you can connect with Tiwari sir, and I will help you out definitely.
Sure, sir.
This should be the takeaway of this session.
Thank you, sir.
All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that support.
Thank you.